Have you ever had dreams that were so vivid, or rather, you just knew that somehow it meant something? Either, what I'm trying to say is sometimes dreams come out very real to the point where it's almost like not only vivid, but it's like you know that it was meant to be that dream, like it's a message being sent. So it could be other lives as well. But the dream that came to me yesterday, and actually two dreams last night rather, and one this morning because I went back to bed, is the first one was, I actually took notes on it. Where did I put it here? It was basically, the first one was, I was there was just, it looked like it was some sort of store or something, like it was like we were part of, like we worked in the kind of a radio store, like we worked with radios and something with the frequencies, and then I was sort of relaying like information to this other coworker of mine or like a friend, I don't know what it was. And then all I remember was that I think it was 5 digits or something like that. It seemed like a frequency, like a station. And then all of a sudden there was these 3 girls on the side. Kind of made me think, are they like symbolism of like fates or whatever? Anyways, we're not going to get there. We're not going to go there. But basically they kept repeating something, and I had this urge to like correct them, because I said, nope, this is what it is. But instead of saying that, I said whatever it was, the frequency, and then I said idiot. And then I remember them saying, oh, so you think that's da da da. The feeling I got was like, oh, you're so smart, da da da. So you must be so educated. I remember them saying, school is too cool or something like that. But it was a silly dream, but at the same time, I felt like they weren't listening. So I felt like I had to say something, and I just decided I'm going to stop, and then I woke up from it. So what it felt like was this whole, like I'm not listened to. I don't know what it was. It's very weird. But at the same time, I don't know. So it made me kind of think, is there something that's happening now? So like, for example, I looked at my progression chart. Maybe there's something happening now that's different, or that it could be something from my actual birth chart. Because I have Apollo here transiting my 12th house, which is the house of dreams, or rather reflections. But the 9th house is also that. So I do tend to get more of thoughts that come through in my dreams, like when I'm sleeping, because the 12th house represents sleeping when we're in our subconscious. But the 9th house is also dreams, and I have Neptune there. So it's both 5th house issues and 4th house issues that come through. Right? So, because Neptune rules Pisces, I have Pisces. Pisces rules the cusp of the 9th house, which makes it Neptune, but also 3rd house issues, so things that I'm not able to communicate. I find that there's a limit to my communication. And 4th house issues, a lot of 4th house issues here. A lot. I have a lot. Like more than 20 probably bodies in the 20. I would say, I'm not going to say 20, but more than 10 for sure. It's just crazy. Anyways, so later, I had this other dream, and I'm just going to hold this down here. I got this Lemurian seed, like a bigger one that I had. It looks very different. It looks like a clear quartz, but it's very weird. It's not like a quartz. There's like imperfections inside, so that probably makes it Lemurian. In any case, the second dream that later happened was something that reminded me of like the other dreams I've had before, and it's usually regarding like swimming. And I knew the feeling that the reason why it's swimming is because there's something like I feel like I didn't have, I guess you could say, a closure. You know, the pandemic came. I gradually stopped going swimming, but it felt like it wasn't a sense of completion. But at the same time, what's more important is the reason why I've been having these dreams like on and off. Like it's kind of happens maybe at least once a month. I have dreams about going back to the swim team or going back swimming with people or just like a swimming pool, like literally like training again. And always in the dreams, all of them end with my not being able to go back. There's some sort of block. And I know that's a message telling me it's like, my subconscious might be wanting that, might be wanting to prove that, you know, because I do have Aries rules or Mars rules my 10th house, which is, 10th house is reputation. But Venus rules the 11th house, which is about self-worth. So both 10th house, 11th house comes through reflecting the 4th house, 5th house issues. Feeling like I need to prove something to the world. And I had to look into it and it's like, what the fuck is going on here? So I looked into Venus, and that's the whole theme basically of this whole thing. Like, especially people with Libras like us, we want to always kind of like satisfy everyone. We want to be like, balanced in everything and all those things. Same with Taurus, I would say. Taurus people love to kind of fulfill things just to feel comfortable. And correct me if I'm wrong or anything like that, but that's how I feel like it's the whole Venusian sort of feel. It's a Venus energy where it's like we have to adhere to social expectations, social norms. And it shows in my chart. I have so many. I have, what is this? It's all clumped up together. I have Nemesis, I have Eros, Ganymede, Ixion, Coar. Also, did I put Pandora here? Okay, so Eros, Lancelot, Minerva, Ganymede, Nemesis, Ixion, Coar, all in Scorpio, plus also Horus and Angel. Shows how it's like I have always kind of like believed, and that's the Mercury thing, it's always believed that I should be of service, and I kind of deluded myself into believing that these are how I show love to the family, how I feel like I should belong, I should, and I always thought that it's like, I don't understand this. Because Ixion is, for me, personally, the one that I wanted to talk about is Ixion and Core. Ixion Core conjunct in my chart. They're like literally the closest one together. And so with those two put together, and I find it pretty common in other people's charts. So Ixion and Core put together is like this whole, just really like wanting to be connected to the rhythm of life. It's Core is the way I've understood Core is like he's the part of us that is about understanding possibilities and knowing that there's like always something out there. I've always known that. I've always felt that. And I've always felt like this comfortable, especially when I'm at home in my safety net, my my comfort zone, which is the fourth house. It's always been like that. I've always been I've always felt like this is why I kind of like stay away from people especially who don't feel like they feel like the possibility mentality that I have is kind of like, oh, out of this world. And that's also where Lancelot plays a role in this one, because Lancelot is like risk-taking, kind of like reckless, self-belief, but Lancelot's more about the servitude sort of thing. So I kind of always thought that by helping people, especially like my family, I can gain that love. Eros plays a role in here too. Nemesis plays a role here too, where it's like, this will help me kind of recall why my fears of not being connected or really like connected and really like that Scorpius ring sort of thing kind of forced me to. And Hadar is actually here too. It's like that whole like loss of community, loss of like togetherness, loss of harmony, loss of peace, loss of love. So this is why in most of my life I felt like I've always had to latch on to the expectations of family. I believe that parental expectations also here. I have also, I think, is it Adrastia or Kestia? I forgot which one it is. But it's also my fourth house, I believe. But the point I'm making is that with Ixion here specifically, I feel like it's always been strong. Like I want to just be kind of flowing and understand that it's like life is just the way it is. I've never understood how humanity has all these rigid rules. I'm just like, fucking fuck. Like it's just I never understood it. And I'm just like, and I have Lilith asteroid too between Mercury and Uranus. So it's just like, fuck it. And I just want to be, Yeah, so there's this pull towards servitude. There's this pull towards going back because of fear of the past. But coincidingly speaking, I'm also being reminded to be in the moment and live life. Apollo's right here too. Angel actually in Horus are conjunct, right? It's almost perfect conjunction. But it's all in the fifth house. So, but it all kind of ties in. Most of these planets, Apollo, Angel, Horus, actually Adrastia is here as well, which is I think is a responsibility thing. I don't remember. The point is that it's pushing me towards being more, trusting the moment, trusting life, trusting what's going on. And I haven't really been listening to that. Had I not gone into serious swimming before, which is still okay, I would have just enjoyed swimming. And I wouldn't have these imbalances, which kind of now puts me into the 10th house setup that I talked about. I'll show you my chart actually, right here. So up here, Chiron, it's all by itself. Being fucking pulled by all these planets. So what it does, it carries a huge burden for Chiron to, that, I guess you can see by, it's kind of, what do you call it? It's something like a loner body. I forgot what the terms were. But Judy Hall called it like that. Or was it Stephen Forrest? He said that when a planet is by itself, it's kind of above one of the quadrants or whatever it is, then the other planets pull at it. It feels like there's this heaviness about it. The moon and Chiron are both planets that I have in my chart that are very heavy. There's other ones too. Sedna, I think, plays a role in that, but Chiron is a really heavy one, and moon as well. There's a lot of planets pulling at these planets towards because it's further up in the southern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere, yes, it's northern, if you know this already, is pulling towards like self, pulling toward recognition of self, so that before I can become of service, before I can be able to help others, I have to work on those. But sometimes there's an imbalance. One of the things that I notice is that when I get too passionate, the Scorpio energy comes through, right? It literally pulls at me physically, right here, like right now when I speak, especially if I'm too passionate. This area right here includes the mouth, the nose, the ears, the tongue. This area, this is Taurus, right? This is, yes, medical astrology, but the point is it does affect me. I notice, like, why is there a pull? I can feel this sort of crackling sort of thing. And that's why sometimes I have to do Eden methods, like pulling of the ears, so I can hear better. So I feel like, so Mercury rules the nervous system, but it also rules the hands and the arms right here. So when I also do things like too much hard work where I'm not necessarily supposed to do them, and this is why I have North Node in Leo. Leo's not exactly the sporty type. Dancing is fine. Yoga is fine. I knew I should have kept with those, but lo and behold, I was just like trying to prove myself to others. Aries in the 10th house, right here, and Mars going to sports, into Sagittarius. I have Mars in Sagittarius. I didn't listen. So, how this all ties into self-worth is that, when you think about self-worth, you want to, put this in the previous video. Self-worth is a reflection. Usually most humans, when you think of self-worth, it's a reflection of what they see in others as themselves, because we haven't worked on ourselves. We haven't actually honored ourselves. We haven't honored the basic foundations, the basic needs of ourselves. We're always taught to do this for others. It goes straight into servitude. It goes straight into like society. And it's like, sometimes I just be like, how the fuck am I supposed to help others if I can't help myself? Right, so the key here, and not just being angry there, and being like adamant about it, because it's like, you cannot help others if you don't work on yourself. It doesn't work the opposite way. You have to grow within first, and then you can shine, and then you can grow, and then that will reflect what it is. Because if you're not true with others, it's kind of like a bottle that pours water out of it. How do you nourish yourself? If you have an empty bottle like this one I have here, how the fuck do you pour water out of it? There's no water in it in the first place. You don't nourish yourself, you don't get to nourish others. You don't help yourself, you don't get to help others. So, it's one of those things that it's just like, and there's a reason why I had to draw this, I had to show you my chart as well, because, right here we have Eros, Jupiter conjunct. So finding love in the expansion of these new things and changes that are coming through, and really processing it and processing the wounding. And I think this is what's happening, at least for me. I also have Chiron square. I have a grand fixed aspect between North Node, South Node, Chiron, and all these other fucking planets in the 4th house. So, and I would say I'm not trying to make myself feel, it's not self-pity, I'm just saying it is a reality that it is heavy, that I'm working on it. And the Osiris, I didn't realize this before, Osiris is conjunct my North Node, and then Vesta comes after that. Osiris is transformation, right? It's like Pluto. But Osiris is also kind of going back and kind of revisiting. It's kind of like having a backup, kind of figuring out what it means to have this rebirth. Osiris is like Pluto, but Osiris is more about, because the myth was that he was chopped up into pieces, right? Like his brother chopped him up, and then what resurrected him was Isis. So Isis revived him through her love for him. So, with that, it means that Osiris has, I find that with Osiris, there's something about bouncing back. That's the key word here. So he's about fertility, afterlife, death and rebirth, fluctuating transformations, patience, and strength. Strength doesn't come from just sheer willpower. Okay, facing your deep wounds, doctrine-rooted trauma, self-transformation, unconscious to conscious, spiritual growth through physical growth. Right? So there's that thing. Spiritual growth, physical growth. Spiritual growth to me is like the extension of yourself when you're in service to the elevation of humanity. But I cannot have that until I've learned to, or rather in conjunction with, as I'm helping myself. But this is why I have North Node in Leo. It's like, it's time to shine. It's time to focus on more of like myself in terms of not myself, not self-serving. It's just really like working here first and then outwards. Okay? It doesn't make sense to go backwards. Okay? It's also learning from every loss and death. And here I have this loss in hearing. I have a hearing loss on my right side here. And it's a good thing I've actually been able to stop swimming, because I would have made it worse. Yeah. So when it comes to going back to the self-worth thing, take it from me. My experience with this whole thing, with this Venusian energy of like, I have to be in love, or I have to connect with others, be in a relationship and all that stuff. Fuck that. Don't do that first. Focus on yourself. Do the opposite. Do what Aries people would do. Okay, just be curious. Be in the moment. Be present. Do what Leo would do. Do the opposite of the air signs. Be more fire. Be more like there. Well, Sagittarius, sort of. You don't have to be like athletic, but if that is a pull for you and it inspires you, great. So self-worth is really about honoring. There's a reason why resentment builds up. That's because we're not focusing on what we want. And this is why I mentioned Ixion earlier. Ixion, wherever it is in your chart, you have to honor that. Otherwise, Ixion will just be criminal. Ixion will misuse power. Be like that sort of unneeded renegade. Like that sort of like being a renegade for the sake of being a renegade. Rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It doesn't make sense. It has to have meaning behind it. Not necessarily purpose. One of the things that I heard of it last week that really kind of like was like, oh, that makes perfect sense, was when Matthias de Stefano said that the one thing that the universe does to have fun is create limits. Because if you don't have limits, how do you know what the opposites are? So what I see by limits, you're probably going, what do you mean by that? So limits means like creating limits, creating oppositions, creating, like for example, if all you know is good, like wholeness, if all you know is one thing, how do you know if that's what it is? Unless you get the opposite, right? Opposites manifest reality, at least this reality. There's always wholeness. You're already whole. But to work through that, that's what and this is what Venus represents. It's that sort of balance thing. It's more of a Libra thing, I think, I would say. But the point is that, you have to wait, you have to allow for those opposites. I was looking back into my book with Stephen Forrest, The Inner Sky. And I look first into Sagittarius and why I should have been more like prudent. That's the word that stuck here. It's just like, oh my goodness, okay, so I should have been more prudent. So now I'm being more prudent. Being more prudent in terms of who to believe. I have that Sagittarian thing. I now have in my progress chart actually Sun in Sagittarius, still in the fourth house though. So it's that whole believing, but sometimes you got to be prudent and say, who do you share your knowledge with? Who do you share your enlightened wisdom, sort of those kind of things, your belief system, your philosophy? Who do you share it with? This is why we have to be prudent, especially for you guys. If you have Sagittarius placements, be prudent. Libras, Taurus, don't just go all out and like, you know, Taurus is a little bit more focused on the self, which helps a little bit. But Libra starts to go into like the outer world, starts to go into like helping others. You know, that's kind of, it pulls in from that experience it had with Virgo. You know, but sometimes you can't do that unless you work on yourself. So self-worth is a big thing. At least for me personally, I feel like it's very destructive. This is the destructive part of the Venus energy, where it's like, it cannot be loving unless it's self-loving, right? You have to be whole first. But working on yourself first is where it begins. If you miss that, you miss the bus there. It's like, right? Instead of just being like, I want to be loved, be love itself. Be loving, and then you can be beloved. Because in any case, you are already beloved. You are whole. But in this conceptualization of humanity, or this form, or I guess, the 3D conceptualization, the 3D perception, Venus always wants to please others. Venus wants to be sensual. Venus wants pleasure, but it seeks it in others. And the process of Venus doesn't work that way. It has to work on it first. This is why Venus rules Taurus first, before Libra. And it's in the second house. You know, self-worth, valuing things, self-worth. Keep repeating the same thing. So anyways, there were other things, but I wanted to do some tarot cards today because I feel like I've said enough. Just going to clean the air a bit. I bought these, I forgot what this wood is. I forgot what it was. Fire. Yes, live fire right here. Okay. Here we go. It smells really good, actually. All right. Let that run its course a little bit. See what the cards will have to say today. A card popped out and I ignored it, but I made a choice. It's a work in progress. Take that one. Then I'm going to take that one. It's 3 cards in one. Okay. That one flew out right away. Okay. Got 4 cards. So for that card that came out was three of wands. Okay. I read this one before, kind of, but I don't know. Something about, it just feels like they're not looking back, looking forward. Holding one, it's like being able to kind of put one foot in one door and out the other, or something like that. Upside down, five of pentacles. Obviously, this one's like being left out in the cold, self-pity probably. Isolation. King of Swords. This one's more probably about like assuredness, maybe confidence, or kind of like telling you the right things, kind of maybe correcting others. I'm not really sure. Being kind of like being the king of your own realm, or being in charge of your own knowledge and your own wisdom and your own. It's high up in the mountains. It feels like it's high up in the hills. It's close to the air. Upside down, the world. Okay. Okay, so this one, I believe, I think something to do with, oh, that's the fortune, the Wheel of Fortune. This one is, I totally forgot. Balance, wholesomeness. So I've done this before. 3 of Wands. Oh, it's new adventures, seeing how best to act, knowing what is going on, to what is going to happen next, having an open perspective. New journeys, awareness of your intentions, knowledge is power, a sense of vocation. I feel like this doesn't tie in with what I said here, but that's fine. Okay. There's a Uranus thing coming through. Okay, the transit of Uranus right now. It's about to conjunct. Jupiter will approach Uranus, so that represents a lot of. But Eros is here. Eros conjuncts Jupiter. Open to perspective. That's Jupiter transiting right now. So 5 of Pentacles. Spiritual separation, soul searching, emotionally wounded, unworthiness, feeling alone or excluded, neglecting your needs, a sense that something is missing in your life. Yeah, we just talked about it. So, King of Swords. Oh, as I turn the pages right here. Okay, actively gets to grips with the situation, objective outlook on life, has high standards, fair judgment, patriarchal values, capable and prudent, intellectually adept. You see, these things are these signs. Not everything is going to make sense. Some of them more for myself, some of them are for you guys. Either way, take it with a grain of salt, enjoy it, being guided through me. I'm being guided as well. Okay? The world. The world, the world, the world. Reward for hard work and effort, time for celebration of self and others. Feeling the world is your oyster, traveling both physically and mentally, accomplishing what you set out to achieve, discovering a solution, feeling at one with yourself and the universe. I feel like this one's the one that's going to come out. So whatever you're going to do, keep doing it, and something is going to come to fruition, rewarding yourself with it as well. As long as you're, being in the present moment, enjoy it for all the hard work you've done. I would say for myself as well. New adventures. This is the one that's also coming through. New things, new horizons. I didn't get to draw Eos. I like Eos as an asteroid, but anyways, I digress. Okay, that's it for today. But what I'm gonna do is actually, as I got this green apple serpentine. It looks like an apple. It literally looks like an apple. I love green apples. So anyways, as I hold this and get in touch with more here in the heart center, I put together some music. It's a mantra meditation sort of thing. I believe it's going to be a mantra. I'm not sure. You'll see how it goes after this. So just enjoy it, meditate on it, and really hone in what it means to have self-worth. What is worthiness, right? So work with that energy. I'm actually changing. I made the frequency of this one to mix several things. One is Pluto, which I believe you need, or I personally need as well. It's regeneration, transformation. Venus as well, going to be the frequency there. But also, the one I added there is going to be also a heart. You'll see it. In any case, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Much love. Take care of yourself. You first before others, because otherwise you won't be of service to others if you're not servicing yourself. That sounded funny, but that's what it is. I almost forgot to mention that I would suggest try looking up the Wim Hof Method. I'll put in the link below in the descriptions. There's some breathing clips or breathing methods for different languages as well. It's on his channel. You can also download the app. It looks a bit like this. It looks like this. It's kind of like I don't know if you can see that. Right there. It's right, where is that? Right there. You see that? It's right there. This one right here. And when you open it, you'll come to this one. But if you want to follow and get guided breathing, you do pay for I think it's $47, something USD for the whole year. It's worth it. But if you don't want to, that's totally fine. You can go with the retention timer. That will be open to anyone. And just go with your own breathing, your own rhythm. This is what I do for myself. I try to follow it, but sometimes it's a little fast, and it just doesn't feel natural yet. Or just not natural yet, but I've been doing this for 3 years now. And so, but you do the breathing, right? So if you don't remember the process is you take in a deep breath as much as possible, as deep as possible, all the way to your head. So in through your nose and relax, exhale. Okay, breathe in. Basically, it's just kind of like that same thing. You breathe in deep and then relax, exhale. Do this a minimum, I would say, 20 times. I do about 40 because I like it. That way it's stronger. You'll notice some things, they're different. If it's your first time, I would say just do 2 rounds. I would say that's what I did the first time. 1 round or just 2 rounds. Whatever your body is saying. Remember to listen to the body. And when I say listen to the body, I mean not what the brain thinks the body wants. Not the whole like, I don't feel comfortable. That's a story. You don't want to listen to that. Listen to the body. What does it say? Okay, it's like, okay, I can do one more. Or maybe I can do one more. Or maybe I can do it longer this time. Doesn't matter. The point is, well, when you use the app, the one with the guided meditation, it will say different, it'll go like, okay, here we go. So you'll set it for several retentions. Breaths before retentions. So you can choose slow, normal, fast, speed. You can choose as low as 5 breaths before retention. So I go 40. You can choose to have Wim's voice in there. You can choose whether to have phase music during the breathing, without. You can have retention phase music, without retention phase music. You can have the pinging gong, ding. If you don't like that, you can take it off. There's also the breathing breath, which is Wim himself breathing. With the guided meditation, it's set all throughout. So if you set it to 20 breaths, it'll be 20 breaths the whole time, 20 repetitions. Kind of like, when you work out, it's like you have reps. It's kind of like that, the same. But if you do it without the guided meditation, meaning the timer itself, you can do as much in each round. Okay, so again, one round is like the deep breathing, 20 reps. Okay, and then once you exhale on the last one, let's say you do it, this is the 20th time, you go 20. You sit there. You don't breathe in, you don't breathe out. You'll see how you'll notice that you can actually hold your breath. Don't do this. Just relax and just sit there. You'll notice how long you need to go until you need to take another breath. Then when you take breath in, you hold it up at the top, so in 15 seconds. Okay? And then once it's done, relax. That's 1 round. Okay, so again, it depends on what your body is really saying. Again, it's not the mind, it's the body, not the story, reality. Right? And your body is saying, and then listen to that. Once you've done maybe about 2 rounds, I would say as soon as you can, go to the shower, do like your usual warm shower, and then go straight into cold. If you live up north where I live, maybe that will be shocking. You don't want to shock your body that much, but you want it enough so that your body gets used to that. And when I say gets used to that, I mean like preferably the Wim Hof Method is something that you do on a more consistent basis. Because one, you're training your body to do things. You're training your body to respond to trauma physically, and that's where it's strong. Physically. Okay, it gets used to that cold and it gets used to it and you're like, oh, okay, now. So when you come up with all these things, like when things come up in your life, like this nervousness, the stress and things about the world, you get less stressed about it because you're training your body to do it. Trust me, it works for me. I love it. I'm not saying that the nervousness is gone. It's not about that. It's literally like just help me to cope. And so it not only does that, it's actually the breathwork part, actually, it's a natural painkiller, and it's wonderful because I love it. Just love it. And it also elevates the pH levels of your blood. So that means it's a natural painkiller, but also basically any sort of pain you have, if you have illness, it brings it down because your immune system now has room to heal faster instead of the brain working with the immune system and then this and then this and the pain receptors. You don't want that. You're assisting the immune system to work through those. And then it becomes easier for the body to heal faster. And you're like, cool. So it's a natural like healing system, like with the breath. Then when you go to the cold shower, it does more than that. It allows you to go back into your essence, your subconscious. When you were in the womb, right? It recognizes water. That's the other thing. So it's something about having a blue mind or something like that. But also helps to also reduce inflammation. It also trains your body to, yes, respond to trauma, but it also trains your body, especially if you do it longer. The more often you do it, the longer you do it, the more frequently it's happened. Let's say after 7 months or 3 months or something like that. Maybe even after a month. Your body not only reduces, it's used to that lowered self, your body will look for it. And at the same time, well, that's for me, that's what it is. I keep looking, I don't do it. I don't ever skip a day without the breath, at least a breath, and then the cold shower. I never, ever, ever skip that. Ever since I started, I just went on because I love it. It helps a lot. But again, with the cold shower, there's something else that it does. Lowers inflammation, and also, the cold shower, the shock, especially if you've done it longer, meaning like it's no longer like just 10 seconds. By the way, yeah, you want to do it for 10 seconds at least. Warm, then go switch to cold, 10 seconds. I would say 10 seconds instead of 5. Some people do 5, but it go 10 seconds. Your body will get used to it. And if you start to feel like you're getting a cold or something like that, that's just a normal thing. When you go straight into the cold, your body gets used to it. 5 seconds is still okay, but absolute minimum is 5 seconds. But try to go for 10. So the thing that it does, the other benefit that it does is that not only does it train you with all those things I mentioned earlier, but because your body gets used to it, your body knows also how to meditate. It's almost like just automatic, like, especially if you have a busy mind, like, all those things. This will help you it will teach you to be still, because now you're surrendering to the cold water. That is when you surrender to the cold water. You surrender to it. You just sit there, allow for it, and just do it. Really, this is what Wim also says. Just do it. Just do it. Okay? In any case, that's all for now. Enjoy the video, the mantra video after this one. I hope it helps. So do the cold shower, and do the Wim Hof breathing, cold shower, and then to try to do the mantra meditation. However you want to use it, how often you want to, it's up to you. That's my gift to you guys. I hope it helps. But thank you so much for watching. Again, I'll see you later. Just sit comfortably. Keep your back straight. Relax your shoulders, your neck, your arms, your hands. You can place them on your lap. Make sure your back is straight, so that you're stable, centered. And just start with breathing. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Continue to breathe normally, relaxed, as comfortably deep as possible. And as you do that, allow the truth from within to come through. Keep your eyes closed and surrender to the moment. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving. And I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving. And I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving. And I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving. And I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again. My worth is what I choose it to be. I allow for whatever emotions to come up and sit with them. I am worthy of all the gifts I have now. I choose to remember that my source is love. I am always whole. I am valued because I value myself. I am wealthy because I listen to my heart. I love. I am love. I am loving, and I am loved. Even after death, I go back to wholeness, so I am whole again.